What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's YouTube video. Before we dive into the video, I want to share with you my goal this year to hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you find today's video useful, you can help me out by just hitting that red subscribe button to get us one step closer to the goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers. I can't do it without you guys, so I'm trying to put out as much great content as I can each week for you in exchange for getting you to subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, help us reach our goal, and now let's go ahead and dive into today's video. In this video, we're going to be talking about what is Pinterest, and I'm going to walk you through the basics of Pinterest. We're going to talk about what pins are, what boards are, how to use Pinterest if you are, running a business. So for example, I'm here on my golf account for golf practice guides. This is one of my golf brands I started several years ago. I've got my account here, so we've got a website I link to. We've got my bio, and then you can see I've got 9,000 followers, and I get close to 1 million monthly views on my content here on Pinterest. So I use it for business. I use it to drive traffic to my website, to a blog that I have, and that's how I get readers on my website. And eventually they get into my sales funnel where they check out my products on my website and I end up getting sales off of it. So Pinterest has been a really handy tool for me to help grow my business. And I'm going to show you some of the basics. So starting off with, what is Pinterest? Well, it's like a visual storyboard where you can save different ideas, and saving these ideas known as pins. So in my case, I create pins, which is this vertical image here, for my website. So I put the blog post title on it, I put my website URL on it, so when somebody's scrolling through Pinterest and they see one of my pins, they know it's going to take them to a blog article or to a website. But if we go out here to our home feed, so we'll click on home feed here, there's all kinds of other pins as well. There are just image pins, there's video pins that are playing videos, like we can see here with this one. We've got product pins, which are going to be, showing us a price and different information that we're going to need to make a purchasing decision. There's also a new thing they just started called story pins as well. So out here on the home feed, this is like when you get on any social media site. So if you get on Twitter and you scroll through your Twitter feed, or you get on Facebook and you start scrolling down your feed, or Instagram, this is the same thing on Pinterest here. We've got this news feed where Pinterest populates a bunch of different ideas for us that it thinks that we're going to be interested in. So that's why it's got the For You tab up here. There's also the Today tab. These are a bunch of other inspirational ideas that we can check out based on today. So March 30th, 2021, daily inspiration. So we can see all kinds of different trends and different topics that they're highlighting for today only. So we can go back to the For You tab. Again, this is going to be a mix of interests that I've already indicated when you sign up for your Pinterest account. I told Pinterest several interests that I have, and it'll try to pick out different pins that fall within those interests. It's also going to populate pins here based on things I've searched. So if I've searched for like paint ideas, for example, for my house, now I'm seeing, this pin here, which has to do with different wall colors for painting. There's also followers that I follow. So if, one of my people that I'm following is pinning out new content, like the Golfer's Authority, I follow them, for example. They just pinned out how to hit a draw in 3 easy steps. And so now I'm seeing their pin on my feed since I follow them. Same with the Left Rough. They're also in the golf space, and I follow them as well. So it's a good mix of content here between your interests, who you're following, as well as different things I've searched in the past that I've, given Pinterest this new data to say, hey, I'm interested in these topics. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to our profile here by clicking on the little profile icon over here on the right-hand side. So to get started, you have to create a profile. So when you go to Pinterest.com, you're going to sign up. And it's going to ask you to give, a profile name. And then later on, you're going to be able to edit your bio here. So all we do is click this little drop-down arrow and go into our settings. All right, so inside our settings, we've got the Edit Profile section. So this is where I created my, profile name, Golf Practice Guides. I gave a username of Golf Practice. So this is my URL, so Pinterest.com/golfpractice. Then I gave a little bio section here. Where I typed a little bit about who I am and what people are going to learn from when they come to my profile. And then I linked to my website and I verified my website. And to do that, you just have to copy some code that Pinterest gives you and put it into the back end of your website settings so that Pinterest can see that, yes, you do actually own that website because you have access to get into the back end settings to post in that code. So that's in another video. It gets a little complicated, but there's where we pretty much put in our profile information and we pick our profile photo inside the settings tab under our profile here. So when we go back out to our profile, we've got this banner here, which by default is just Pinterest pulling different content from our pinning history. So these are different pins I've uploaded before in the past, and so it just makes this cool banner for us by default. So we've got the banner, we've got the profile photo that we set up, we've got the profile name that we set up, and then we wrote in our bio, we verified our website. So those are the basic things we did in the settings. Now here's where we can see how many followers we have, how many people we're following, and then how many views our profile and our pins and things like that are getting in total each month. So that's the basics of the profile. Now we talked a little bit about what pins are out on the home feed. So in order to get a pin onto your profile, you actually have to create boards. So I'm going to click on saved over here. This is going to take me into where all my boards are. So you can see here, these are different boards that I've been creating. I've just started a couple new boards, for example. So this one on women's golf. These are where I would just pin only pins that are related to women's golf. And then if I go back out here to all my different boards, we've got some that are just on fitness and exercise only. So again, these are going to be tied into different fitness tips, different exercise tips for golfers. So getting specific by organizing your boards, based on different topics is a great way to kind of create your overall brand presence, but show that you cover different topics and letting your audience, pick out different topics that are most relevant to them. Rather than just having one board with a ton of pins in that one board, it's better to break it down and organize it by topics just to keep things, much more simple and clean for users that are coming onto your profile here. So one of the things we can do here, you'll notice we've got this little lock symbol. That just means it's a private board. So again, shower renovations, not really tied to golf. So it doesn't really make sense to be out here on my golf branded page. So this one, by setting it to private, only I can see it. So when other people come to my profile, they won't be able to see, that I'm saving things for shower renovation ideas. Now again, I use Pinterest to make purchasing decisions. So do most people. And so for me, I'm looking at ideas for remodeling houses. I fix up houses for a living. So I like to look inspirational ideas on showers, flooring, vanities, wall colors for paint, that sort of thing. And so those are going to be private boards that I'm going to set private just so that I can be the only one to see them. But otherwise, I've got all these other boards related to golf. And then I've got a couple new boards that I'm getting ready to start putting in some content to as well. So what you can do is to create a board, you just are going to start off by hitting this little plus icon on your profile. So we found the plus icon right here. And then we're just going to hit create a board. And then you're going to give the board a name. So in this case, let's just do home renovations. Now I am going to make this secret again by checking to keep it secret, since I don't want golf people to find my home renovation content, since it's not relevant to my overall branding and my overall profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now it's going to go ahead and create this new board, and it's going to give us some inspirational ideas to get started based on our board name. So since I said home renovations, it looked at those two words and it said, okay, this board must be about home renovations using its smart algorithm feature. So now it's trying to display a bunch of different pins that it thinks most related to that board. So we can start saving pins if we want. Now for me, I like to go in and edit the board. So we just come here to edit board. We can change the name if we need to. We can give a description about what our board is. So I could just say things like, this board is about home renovation inspiration. And then we can give other keywords like, shower remodels, kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels. So using some different keywords here, this will help tell Pinterest more what our board's about, and that can help our board get shown in search results and people can find our content easier. All right, so collaborators, this is where we could choose if we want to be the only collaborator or if we want to invite people and make it like a group board. So a group board is where multiple people can collaborate and pin to one board. So I can invite other people to contribute to this board as well. So it fills up with content that's not just my own, but also other people pinning to that same board. Right now we've got it checked marked to keep it secret. And then if we ever want to delete it or archive it, we could do so there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on done. So now we've got this new board. All right, so in order to create a pin and add a pin into Pinterest, I mentioned that we need to have a board created first. So now that we've created this board, now we can actually create and upload a pin. So let's go here to create a pin. We're going to click on the create a pin drop down menu item. So here's the basic create a pin
uploader, and this changes from time to time how it looks visually, but as of right now, this is the current setup they've got for us. So here's where we would click, to find a pin off our computer. So for example, I might have this pin here. I'm just going to use it as a test example. So this is not the best designed pin. I was doing a quick rough draft the other day in another video, but let's just say this was the pin that I just created. All right, so we grab the image off our computer. We'd give it a title. So how to bet on golf with sports betting apps in 2021. Now you get 100 characters, so I just used about 50 characters, so I have about 49 remaining. But that's a pretty long title, so we don't need to use up the entire 100 characters, but that is going to be the cutoff if we had a super long title. Next, we've got the description. Now we get 500 characters here, so we could write a pretty decent paragraph about our pin and what we're linking to if we wanted to. But I'm just going to keep it short and simple and just say something like, here are the best sports betting apps to download to your iPhone or Android phone for betting on golf this year. And then we could use some other keywords like FanDuel, DraftKings, just some other keywords, just in case people are searching these words in the Pinterest search bar. It might help bring our pin up in the search results if Pinterest recognizes that people are using these words. Now we've got alt text, so we'll go ahead and add some alt text. This just explains what people can see in the pin. So if for some reason this image doesn't load, my alt text will still be there. So we'll just say, sports betting golf. There's a couple words there. Now the destination link, this is where we could paste in a link to our website. So I could paste in a URL like, golfpracticeguides.com/sports betting apps. So maybe this was a blog post that I wrote over on my website. So I'd grab that URL, come in here and copy paste it in. Then we can set if we want to publish immediately or publish at a later date. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at publish immediately. Now when we're all ready to publish, we're going to go ahead and hit this little drop down arrow and select which board we want to post this to. So since this has to do with golf, I would pick a board. Now we've got an error here. It says this URL is unreachable. So it recognized already that I don't actually have a URL on my website for sports betting apps yet. So what I'm going to do is just delete this out and just use my home page for now. Now, one other thing to note before we show you picking a board and publishing, we can also create a carousel. This is a different type of post, so we can just hit that. And what it's going to do is it's going to have you choose, a bunch of different files. So you're going to be able to upload multiple images instead of just one. So it's kind of, a different type of pin that people can scroll through multiple images is basically the basics of it. So we've got the little plus button up here. So we'll pick, one image, then we might hit the plus button, pick our next image, then hit the plus button, then pick our next image. And each of these can have its own description, its own title, and its own destination link. So we could have, 3 different images as part of our carousel that all could have different titles, descriptions, and destination links. All right, so now that you understand the basics of what a pin is, what a board is, how to create a pin, how to create a board, we've also talked about our profile. I showed you the basics of the banner, the profile image, profile name, description, linking to a website, and then some basic data we can see right here on our profile page of followers and monthly views. So let's talk a little bit more about the analytics side of Pinterest. So when you have a business account, you can actually get access to different analytics. So when you start off with a personal account, you're not going to be able to see some of these different options up here in the menu bar. So you won't see this business option, you won't see analytics, you won't see ads. But it's quite simple to convert to a business account. All you need to do is type in Pinterest business account, and then you're going to go here to where it says get a business account, or you can just go to this pinterest.business.com and you'll find it as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just click on this sub URL here. Now it's going to show you different ways you can create a business account. So you can either create a linked business account where you can keep your personal and your business profiles separate, or you can just merge it all into one. So if you already have a personal account, you can just convert it to a business account so that you just have that one account rather than keeping 2 separate accounts that are linked together, separately though. So all it's going to do here is just show you different directions depending on, what option you want to do. So you're just going to come here and basically click on these links, and it's going to go ahead and take you to the proper pages where you can convert your personal account to your business account. So again, once you have the business account, now we've got analytics that we can look at. So when we upload pins, we're going to be able to keep track of the 30-day progress. So in the last 30 days, this pin has had 266 views. It's gotten repinned twice, and I've had 9 people click on it and go off to my website. So I've linked this pin to a blog post, so we'll open it up and take a look again. So this one's about the golf mat drills that you can do to fix your ball striking. So I gave it a title, Golf Ball Striking Drill with Golf Mat, put in some description here, and then we've linked it out to our website. So when somebody clicks on the image right here, boom, it's going to open up my blog article, and now they're over on my website where they can start reading through my content, and eventually they're going to find my products and my services that I'm offering. So down here I've got different products they can click on, and that's how I end up making sales off my website. So in order to make sales off my website, I had to first get traffic to the website, because if I don't have people reading any of these blog articles, then I'm not going to make any money. I'm not going to sell anything. So to get people to my website, you have to come up with different traffic sources like Google, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest is one of the best. So I recommend really putting a lot of time focusing on Pinterest. It can drive lots of traffic to your website, believe it or not. So that's the basics of what your pin's going to look like to somebody else, how they're going to click on it, end up on your website. And then for you, being the user who has the business account, you get to see these different analytics and stats up close. Other people can't see these things. It's only you that can see these analytics. So that's one of the cool things why once in a while I'll come here onto my profile. I'll start scrolling down here and just kind of browse. These are some of my more recent pins that I just published within the last month or so. And so they've had a little bit of time now to be here on Pinterest, start collecting data. So I just kind of browse through and see, all right, they're getting views, that's good. They're getting some clicks, yes. They're getting some saves, yes, but nothing's too super crazy. But what I'll do is a lot of times just sit and scroll through and look for any that really jump out that got tons of views and tons of clicks. And that's going to tell me what kind of content is working well for me here on Pinterest. And I can try to start creating similar content. So for example, this one right here, the 5 best golf exercises for flexibility. This one's already got over 1,000 views in the last 30 days, and it's had over 28 clicks. So that stands out as one of my best performing pins so far in the last 30 days. And this tells me, okay, people are interested in exercises. So I need to create more golf fitness content and post that to Pinterest. Now, another thing we can do is go into the actual analytics tab. So we'll go ahead and go into the overview. So this is going to be where we can see all of the data more detailed. So it starts off with just a general overview. Okay, so the last 30 days, we've had 971,000 impressions, so getting close to that million mark. And then compared to the last 30 days, which it says over here, we can see that we're up 39%. Total audience is now 265,000. We're up 40%. If you ever wonder what these metrics mean, you can click on the little information. So this is the number of times your pins were shown on the screen to somebody. Total audience, this is the total number of people who have seen or engaged with your pins. So we're getting a lot of people seeing our pins as they're scrolling down their feed and actually engaging. The actual engagements itself stat is right here. So 36,000 engagements, and then engaged audience. So it's a little confusing. They have engagements, they have engaged audience, they have total audience, impressions. I always like to focus though on clicks because I'm trying to get traffic to my website. So we have this little drop down arrow here. Right now it's showing us impressions, so we can see day by day we're starting to see an increase in impressions. Now we want to click this little drop down and go to where it says outbound clicks. So this is going to be clicks off to my website. So how many clicks am I getting each day over to my blog, to my website? So at the beginning or at the end of February, we were getting 365, and then here we go into March, and we're up above 500, almost 600 clicks there on March 14th, and then we've kind of dropped down a little bit back into the 400s. So it's a good graph where we can see the day by day for the last 30 days and just kind of get a rough idea how we're doing performance-wise to getting traffic over to our website. Now as we scroll down here, we can see some more information like our top boards. So I can see some of my best performing boards for impressions. This board's gotten over 168,000 impressions in the last 30 days. This board's gotten me 106,000 impressions. And then this board's got me 24,000 impressions. So we can see our best performing boards. We can continue scrolling through here and look at some of these other boards as well. And again, we can reorganize this based on impressions, clicks, engagement. So outbound clicks, which boards are getting me lots of traffic. So this is my blog board I created called golfpracticeguides.com. So the only pins I post here to this board are pins that are, tied to a blog article of mine. So that's why this is one of my best performing boards, and it's getting me, over 2,000 clicks this last month. And then this board again has gotten me the next most amount of clicks. So some good data to look at there. And then as we scroll down here, we can break it down and actually see which of our pins are doing best. So not only, which boards are doing good, but which pins are doing good. So this one, how to hit down on the golf ball, is my best performing pin for total impressions. How to break 90 consistently, 40,000 impressions. So again, we can sort this out and go through to the outbound clicks metric. So now I can see that, how to hit down on a golf ball got me 897 clicks to my website. How to break 90 consistently got me 852. And then there's a bit of a drop off down here to the 300s and 200s for some of these other pins. So this tells me, so far, how to hit down on a golf ball was a good topic that's really done well in the last 30 days. So that's something I could think about creating more content similar to it if that's what's performing well. Now we also have some of these on here that are, again, fitness ones. We've got 6 strength exercises again here. So again, I'm seeing a kind of a theme here that, some of my fitness pins seem to do very well as well. So if I'm getting ready to sit down and think, all right, what blog articles do I need to start writing this month as we go into April? Well, I'm going to sit down and write some more on the golf swing, how to hit down on the golf ball, different golf swing tips, since that seemed to be what was doing well. And then I might, write some different fitness articles too. Now we've got different reports over here along the left-hand dashboard. So right now it's just everything by default, but we can break it down to just mobile. We can break it down to just desktop or tablet if we want to see which devices our audiences are using. We've also got different types of pins. So right now I pretty much just put out standard image pins, but if I wanted to put out product pins, we could see those, but I don't have any product pins that I put out right now. Video pins, I don't put out video pins at the moment, and I don't use stories yet. That's something pretty new still. So these are 3 areas I could probably improve. I could get used to doing product pins, video pins, and story pins. I just haven't experimented with them yet. So for right now, I just do the standard image pins still. But if we were doing these other ones, then we could see how the stats are doing. So how are our videos doing? We could just click on the video tab and look to see what videos are up to. All right, so overall, that's just a basic overview of what you can do with analytics. I believe we can change the date range as well if we want to go back and look at some other dates and kind of compare. So there's a lot you can learn from your data, but the basics is just to see, what kind of content is resonating well on your Pinterest profile, and that's going to give you insight on how to create more content similar to that. All right, so now that we've covered kind of the back-end basics of our business account, our profile, what a pin is, what a board is, let's talk about how to actually use Pinterest. So when we're using Pinterest, we talked about earlier, we can sit and scroll down our news feed to look at different inspirational ideas that Pinterest is showing us here. So if we see anything we like, we could save it to our different boards. So for example, these are a bunch of different shades of gray. I might want to save that to my home renovations board. So I'm just going to click on save, and boom, it saved it to my home renovations board. As I keep scrolling here, we've got some other accent colors. So I might hit save, and now that's on my home renovations board as well. So I can go into my boards later, click on home renovations, and I can see all the different pins I've saved for later that I can take a closer look at. Or we can sit and click in them one by one right now and actually, go to the articles and read. But sometimes I like to just browse first, save things to my boards, and then I go back later and actually go into those boards and start clicking on different pins and going off to different websites to check out the blog articles and the different websites that they're linking to down here with the link URL that we can see. So that's the home feed. We talked about it earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of move on. Let's go to the search bar next. So we'll click search. So this is where we can search different ideas. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to look up kitchen remodel ideas. So I could just type kitchen remodel ideas, and then it's going to pre-fill some additional, if we want to get more specific. So with island, layout, floor plans, on a budget, farmhouse style. So we can get even more fine-tuned and specific by using some of these suggested search queries that Pinterest is recommending to us. There's also some boards and some profile accounts that we could click on right away. But I'm going to go ahead and do kitchen remodel ideas, farmhouse style. That sounds pretty interesting. So it's just going to pull up a bunch of different pins now tied to that search query. So if you think about it from your perspective as a business, you want to create content that you think people are going to be searching in the search bar, and you want to make sure you're using titles and descriptions that kind of match up with these different phrases people are going to be searching. So for example, if I was creating this, farmhouse inspiration pin like this person did. They wrote the word kitchen inspiration. They wrote farmhouse right on the pin itself. That will match up with somebody's search query, their search intent. But more importantly, they used it in the title here as well. So farmhouse kitchen. So that way it tells Pinterest what this pin's about. And then Pinterest is able to better serve this pin to people that are typing in the words farmhouse kitchen into the search bar. So that's one of the SEO tips that I've got for you, search engine optimization tips, SEO, on how to help get your pins kind of boosted and ranking for different words that people are going to be searching in the search bar. Now we're going to go more into SEO in a different video, but there's a lot of different things you can do. A lot of times it's just making sure you have good titles and good descriptions for your pin. That way Pinterest, can read that. They scan it when you submit your pin, and they index it into their algorithm, and that's how they figure out, what their pin is about, so they can decide what kind of phrases people are searching up here and what ones they want to start showing your pin in the search results for. So all we would do here again is just scroll through, look at ideas. If we see anything cool, then we might just hit save, and boom, it saves it to our board. So that's really the basics, understanding how somebody's using Pinterest. They're getting on here, trying to make a purchase decision. So they're trying to look for inspiration, some ideas, some things that they can go buy or do at their house. So they're going to be typing in different phrases into the search bar, and then Pinterest is going to try to serve them the best results here in the search feed. So your goal as a business is to try to market pins and get them ranking so they rank up here at the top of the search results. That's going to get you the most views, the most clicks, the most engagements. Now, if you're all the way down here where somebody's got to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, then it's less likely you're going to get seen. You're not going to get those impressions, those clicks, those repins. So that's where I'm going to be sharing a step-by-step video on everything you need to do to optimize your pins to try to give them the best chance to rank here in the search results for different keyword phrases that people are going to be typing in up here in the search bar. So make sure you are staying tuned for that video. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'd love to see you guys back watching more videos in the future. So subscribe to the channel. If you found this video helpful today, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, since you made it all the way through today's YouTube video, I want to share with you an important resource I put together regarding Pinterest. So it's called Pinterest for Business. It's updated every month, so there's going to be new content coming into this resource library. You can scroll down the page here and you can read through all the sales copy, but I'm not really a salesman. All I care about doing is putting out the best videos that I can put out for you so you can help teach yourself how to use Pinterest using these training videos. So you're going to get a lot of cool worksheets, different checklists that I start you off with, and a free month of Tailwind. We're also going to go into a lot of the beginner steps starting out, but we're going to get more advanced as well, like how to use your business account to sell things on, Etsy or your website, or build an email list. I'm going to go over the Pinterest algorithm, how it works, so you can learn how to get more pins to stand out on Pinterest so that you can get more clicks to your website, to your blog, to your products. We're going to talk about the secrets to creating viral content on Pinterest. I've got a viral pin checklist you can check out here as well. And then we're going to get into the automation aspect so you can set up scheduling pins with Tailwind to save yourself a ton of time, as well as how to, manually pin still to get some benefit from manual pinning. So overall, there's all kinds of modules here inside of this course that you can use to better your Pinterest knowledge and, help your business out and get better at marketing on Pinterest. So again, we're adding videos every single month. So this library of videos is only going to get bigger and bigger. And the price is going to go up with time as well because, the more content we fill it up with, the more we're going to need to start charging. And so with that being said, go ahead and get the early bird pricing today. You can check out the link below in this YouTube video, or you can go to asknickfoy.teachable.com and just look for this Pinterest for Business course. I also have some other courses, so try to scroll through them and find the one for Pinterest.